This man is frantically slapping his face, but the one who receives the slaps is a girl. It turns out that they have telepathy. Back in time 20 years ago, young Dylan was in class. Suddenly he clung to the desk. His whole body began to shake because it was a racetrack in front of his eyes. At the same time, little Rebecca was lying on a sled that lost control and crashed into a large tree. And at the exact moment that Rebecca crashed her sled, rendering her unconscious, Dylan was thrown from his desk and was knocked out. This is the first time they have connected, but they don't know about that. 20 years later, Rebecca is married to a successful doctor, while Dylan has just recently gotten out of prison. One day while driving, Dylan suddenly sees a woman's bra on his hand. At the exact moment Rebecca is also shopping and sees a man's arm. Dylan is distracted, so he nearly causes an accident. Rebecca is also very scared. After calming down, they learn that if they speak aloud they can hear one another, they can see what the other is looking at, and feel what the other is feeling. They establish that they are not just figments of their respective imaginations, and the presence at the other end is a real person. But the distance between them is thousands of kilometers. Dylan hastily reviews the date. This is the same day. The time where Rebecca lives is 2 hours faster. Dylan immediately shouts, "I know, you're from the future, aren't you?" But it's not. This is due to time zone difference. At this time a policeman who thinks Rebecca is ill then comes over to help. Therefore she immediately loses connection with Dylan. She finds an empty place to reconnect with Dylan. It turns out Rebecca can freely control the connection between them. Dylan can't. Rebecca is married. She waits until her husband goes to watch TV, when she goes to the reading room to connect with Dylan. Together they review the strange experiences that have happened over the years. 20 years ago they had telepathy with each other. Their pain feelings are also synchronized. They have the same scar on their forehead. The next day Dylan tells Rebecca to stand in front of the mirror. Dylan goes into the bathroom, looking into the mirror. This is the first time they meet each other. Even though it's the first time they meet, they feel close, because it seems like they're always together. In the summer of Rebecca 18 years old, she fell out of love, so Dylan was in a very sad mood. In the evening when Dylan pleaded guilty and served in prison for his friend, Rebecca was also worried. After that, they connect almost every day, share about their lives. For everyone around, they are crazy guys talking and laughing all by themselves. One day Dylan's friends come to visit him. They ask Dylan to help them steal, but he doesn't want to do so anymore, so he refuses. Also is the wife of the hospital head. Every day Rebecca must drink tea and watch movies with the wife of the nobility. Everyone's affected manners makes her disgusted. She wants to go to the hospital, where her husband works, to visit her husband, but she accidentally messes with his schedule. He doesn't seem to like it, but introduces her to a friend. Rebecca has a few talks and then leaves. Her husband asks the friend if she has a problem. Her unusual actions recently cause her husband to suspect she is mentally ill. This friend is a psychiatrist. After coming home, Rebecca changes her usual shy personality. She watches Dylan go to the bar. A little sister is staring at Dylan. She sits in the distance to guide Dylan to get acquainted with the girl and invite her for dinner on Thursday. That Thursday, Rebecca attends a dinner party with her husband. All evening she pretended to laugh with the nobles, but in her mind she connected with Dylan and peeked at Dylan's date. On Dylan's side, the date is not going well. Rebecca whispers instructions to Dylan. Suddenly she throws the cutlery on the table and shouts, "Too hot, too hot." It turns out Dylan's pot is burnt, almost burns on him. Rebecca embarrasses. She runs to the toilet. Dylan and she face the mirror and argue loudly. Dylan tells her not to get involved in his story, but Rebecca doesn't want to disconnect. In a hurry, Dylan slaps his face repeatedly. This is also not a good way, because he is also in pain. The girl sees Dylan like that. She walks away in fear. When coming back home, Rebecca's husband is humiliated by her, so he's really angry. Rebecca doesn't know how to explain it to her husband because he has never heeded her words. She also doesn't like this affectation at all. Dylan also seems to feel Rebecca's loneliness. All his relatives broke up with him. They are both alone. That caused these two strangers to fall in love. One day while Rebecca is talking to Dylan, someone else finds out. She asks Rebecca if she had extramarital relations with someone. Rebecca immediately denies. For Dylan, because he often talks alone during working hours, he is complained by customers, so he is fired by his boss. His bad friends continues to bother him. Because of their dialogues, their lives fall into ironic circumstances. Rebecca arrives the first time they connect, wants to end it all, but Dylan doesn't want. Sadly, he goes to the bar to find his friends, wants to back to stealing. He suddenly becomes dizzy and falls back. The doctor and security guard appears in front of him. He hears Rebecca scream. Someone find Rebecca's husband, in order to blame her for adultery. Her husband forced her into a mental institution. Later, Dylan feels that Becky is in trouble, so he violates his parole by stealing a truck to get to the airport and subsequently leaves the state without permission by taking a plane to New Hampshire to rescue Becky. He remotely instructs Rebecca to avoid the camera and tosses the tranquilizer away. Unable to rent a car at the airport, Dylan steals one. While she telepathically guides him on the roads between the airport and the institution, he uses his criminal smarts to guide Becky pick a lock on the door. Rebecca avoids detection until reaching the front door, where she runs into her husband and subsequently punches him in the face before fleeing the facility. While Dylan is being chased by several police cars, they both manage to elude their respective pursuers and end up on foot running through the woods towards a train. They manage to climb into an empty boxcar, where they finally unite in person and share a kiss. The meaning of that story is that when you are extremely sad and miserable, no matter what you say, no one can fully understand your sadness. So in a sea of people, we are always looking for someone who can truly understand us. This review is over. See you in the following videos. Thank you.